Happy Friday. If you're getting paid today, then I want to share my paycheck routine that I've developed over the last 10 years that brings intentional practice to maximizing every single dollar that you have come in when you're paid. And this looks at 8 different steps that I've used. And it also created a budgeting template that allows me to assign every single dollar I have to really intentional jobs, whether that's wealth building, maximizing my enjoyment in the current moment, or thinking about how to better plan for my future. And so, between maximizing the dollars I'm getting from my job and the government towards building the right accounts to this budgeting tool, what this is a really intentional time that you can spend with yourself to build a ritual every 20 to 30 minutes after you get paid to make sure that your money is becoming a superpower for you in your life. And I'm really excited to share it. It's a free tool. There's no email required. The link's below, and I'm going to open it up and start walking through it. And so if you want to open it up as well, you can walk through these steps with me. And then again, the budgeting template is something that you can use immediately. So if you've gotten paid, give it a shot and see what you think. And I'd love to hear your comments. Okay, so we are inside my paycheck routine tracker, and it's going to do 2 things for you. The first one is it's going to walk you through the 8 steps that I follow each and every paycheck. And then the second part is going to be the budgeting process that I follow that will allow you to maximize each and every dollar that you have come in. Think about this as really the opportunity to honor the money that you have coming in. You spent a lot of pain and suffering and time at work to get this money. And now it's your opportunity to maximize each and every dollar. So for me, as I got better at this became a really enjoyable routine because it meant that I was working towards the goals that I have for my money. So here's the 8 steps. The first one is paying yourself first. You'll hear this term a lot, but I want to tell you a little bit about what it means for me. So paying yourself first simply means that you're shifting your mentality from giving your money to other people to thinking about how can I give my money to myself to empower my life and vision. And what I'm not telling you to do is not pay your car payment or other bills that you have due that if you didn't pay would actually be really bad for you financially. But what I am telling you is think about how we can start prioritizing ourselves. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be able to pay yourself first in every situation, but we're always going to try. And that's going to be the target that we set our sight on. Okay, so we're going to try to pick a dollar amount. Here's the next part is how much are we going to try to pay ourselves? And you can pick a one size fits all rule, like try to pay 20% to yourself. My goal is to teach you principles and not rules. And here's where I think about how much to save every paycheck. You want to pick an amount that is challenging for you, but doesn't mean that you're restricting yourself in the moment so much that you're making yourself miserable and you have a spending relapse where you go out and you spend a ton of money after trying to save. And that's what I went through the first couple years that I started to learn to do this. But what you're training yourself is how can I learn to save more while having a great life in the moment and kind of grow that savings muscle. And so use a rule of thumb if you're just starting out, but as you go along, get more specific about how much money do you actually want to be saving to create this powerful vision in your life. 20% might not be enough. For me, I was always trying to get to a 50 or 60 or almost 70% savings rate where I was saving so much money to get to a place where I wanted to go quickly. And so you're just going to have to figure that out for yourself, but these are some rules to look at is think about, am I making myself miserable? Am I saving enough for my future? And what's in an amount that's challenging given my current circumstance, but won't burn me out? Then we're going to look at how do we take advantage of every free dollar that we get from the government and our employer. And here's how we do this. So millions of people today do not do this and they lose out on a ton of money. And I don't want you to be one of those people. So the way we take advantage of government money is we save money into retirement accounts that receive an advantage from the government in the way of tax. And so for instance, if you save money into a before tax 401k account, retirement account, and let's say you're taxed at a 24% rate, which is kind of standard. You could go one tax rate lower, but either way, let's say 24%. For every $100 you put into your 401k, the government's going to give you $24 back. And so that's just free money. And so it's free money as a reward for your saving. So here's what we're going to do. You should get with your employer. You can go to their HR website or if you have an HR person, talk to them and ask them what are the different retirement accounts available to you in your job. Everybody's going to have a 401k. Another one might be a health savings account, which is an HSA that's available for high deductible healthcare plans. Government employees have something called a thrift savings plan. Everyone has access to a traditional IRA. The restriction on a traditional IRA is if you make more than $79,000, you don't get the tax benefit that I'm just talking about. But if you make under that, then again, you put money into a traditional IRA account, the government gives you money back. So in this diagram down here, which you can look at, let's say you were available for all of these tax advantage plans, which you're not. This isn't, a common situation. But let's just say you were able to save $100,000 into these accounts. The government would give you almost $25,000 back. And so the point is that what we want to try to do is get as creative as possible to not leave any money on the table every time we're paid. And maxing out these retirement accounts is a great goal. So a 401k goal for every year is about $23,000 for an individual. You might not be able to save $23,000 a year given your current situation. It doesn't matter. It matters that you're working towards whatever is challenging for you. And the more you can save in these accounts, the more money you get back, which you can then use to either reward yourself, buying yourself something nice, or you can put that money into more wealth building and just continue to watch your money grow. Okay, so then the next part is how do we get free money from our employer? And what happens with employers is they will incentivize you for doing this savings. What's crazy is that a lot of people will not even save money in accounts that have an employer pay you dollar for dollar to save. So for instance, a lot of employers, not all of them, will give you a 3, 4, 5, or 6% company match for every dollar you put in a 401k. Plans are all different by employer. So again, you want to get with your HR benefits package and understand what your plan is specifically. But in this example, I'm going to pick an employer that gives you a 6% match on your annual salary. So let's say they offer a 6% match and you make $75,000 a year. Well, that means that this employer would give you $4,500 or 6% of your salary for contributing to your 401k. Another example might be your health savings account. So if you qualify for one, a lot of times employers will give you free money to put money into an HSA. And so if you're available for that, that could be another way to match money. Another way to think outside of just money is what we're really focused on is growth. And so a lot of companies offer tuition reimbursement. So I would make sure that you're taking advantage of free educational opportunities. So let's say they gave you $10,000 back in an annual reimbursement. What that could look like is by the end of this, you've gotten $15,000 in free money. And so what we want to look at in our paycheck is, are we getting the free money that we qualify for? And if we don't, how do we update our paychecks so that we're making more money every paycheck? Okay, so then as you're saving money, we want to look at what is our plan for our money and how do we build wealth and really inspire ourselves around a vision. And so here's the three things that you want to think about in this step. You want to plan for any type of high interest debt payoff. So if you have credit card debt, probably car loan debt, probably student loan debt, you want to prioritize paying these off first. And I'll build a bigger video on how to do this, but just real quickly, just go out and look at your interest rates on your debt, pick the highest interest rate and start paying that off as fast as possible. And so as you're paying yourself first, you can start paying off debt, and then that will start snowballing on itself. The next key goal is have a safety net for yourself. And what this is you're wanting to save 6 months of living expense so that if something happens, you lose a job, something bad happens, you're not in this place where you're going into emergency mode and you don't have any money to support you. And then the next step is as we build that foundation, we're getting out of debt, we're building a safety net, we're going to start to invest in investment accounts to build wealth. The key here is don't be in a rush. So if you're doing this every single paycheck, just reward yourself for the fact that you're on the journey and you're on the path. If you stay consistent with this with every paycheck, you're going to be successful. Don't worry so much about the end goal and just learn to just appreciate the progress that you're making, and this will happen over time. Okay, so we're gonna start thinking about where our money's gonna go. And here's the six parts of this. Okay. So when you budget your paycheck, you want to look at what bills do I have that I have to pay for before I get paid again. So then I'll budget for those and I'll assign my dollars a job to do that. The next part is what other critical needs do I have that I need to cover? This could be your food, gas in your car to get to work, anything else. And then you're going to look at, so before I get paid again, what wants do I have that would make me happy in my current moment? Maybe this is going out on a date night or doing something nice for myself. Just being thoughtful about how you make your current moment sustainable. The next part is we want to zoom out. So this keeps us really short-term focused. And for a lot of people that are stuck in paycheck to paycheck living, this is all they're ever focused on. They're looking straight down and they're looking at just those times before they get paid again. We want to start getting you out of that paycheck to paycheck existence and looking much broader. And so that's what we're going to do here. What longer term needs do you have? So, outside of when you're paid again, let's say in the next 6 months, what big things are going to require your money that you need to start planning for so that every single time you get paid, you start putting a little money towards those targets so that when that big bill comes, you're not surprised by it and it's not sending you into chaos and it's just a relaxing thing to pay. So then the next part is what longer term wants do we have? So maybe I have a vacation that I have coming up in 12 months. So I'm going to start saving a little bit of money every paycheck so that when that vacation happens, it's not something that's putting me in debt and I'm having the money to pay for it. Then on step six, we're going to look at what unexpected expenses could happen that I might not be thinking about. So if you have a car, you might want to start saving a little bit of money for car repair. You never know when that's going to happen. If you have a pet, maybe you want to start saving a little bit for a vet visit. We never know when our pets are going to need to go to the vet. I have an English bulldog, so she's always getting sick. So I'm always trying to save in the unexpected expense. But you're wanting to try to minimize surprises, and that's what we're going to do in this step. Okay, so here's what we've done with these 7 steps. So you've started to learn how to pay yourself first, and you're thinking about how can I budget money to pay myself before I do any of these other steps. What you're going to find in step number 8 is that we need to start negotiating with ourselves because we've assigned money to saving, but then I've went back and I've said, "Oh, but I have to pay this bill before I'm paid again. Oh, I have this other need and I want to go to this movie or there's something I want to do. Oh, and then I have these other bills coming up 3 months down the road and I want to go on a vacation and I'm not sure when this is going to happen." And what you'll start to see is that you're assigning dollars to very specific jobs. You might not have enough money to cover every category. And so we have to go back and start negotiating with ourselves and thinking about, well, maybe I need to decrease the amount I'm saving in this paycheck a little bit and increase the amount of money that I'm contributing to my needs down the road. Or maybe I really do want to save more money this paycheck. And it just means that I'm not going to be able to spend as much money in something I want to do in the next 2 weeks. Or maybe I really want to save money. And instead of taking a really fancy, high priced vacation in 12 months, I'm going to learn how to do a really kind of nice, cheaper vacation. And that's going to allow me to still do a vacation, but also allow me to save money. And so this is what this step 8 does for you, where you start to negotiate with yourself as you go through that. And this is bringing intentionality into the budgeting process and your money. And like I said in my other video, this is not math. It's all about your mentality around what's most important to you. One of the things that drives me nuts about general financial advice is that there's a lot of guilt and shame and judgment in how you use money. My goal is to never do that. My goal is just to tell you, or my goal is to maybe more help you be intentional so that you're maximizing what will do best in your life. For me, wealth building and learning how to invest and building money and is a key skill that empowers a greater life. And so my goal a lot of times is to spend less money on things that consume, just almost wasting money, and it doesn't do anything for me long term. And so that's kind of the negotiation I'm in is, what is it that's going to make me happy in this moment, and how can I make my best future possible? So we're going to kind of check these off. And now we're going to go into the budgeting process where we bring all of these steps to life. And so I'm going to walk through that now. I'm really excited to share this with you because this is going to start bringing everything to life that I've talked about in my budgeting series around why we need a budget and how to build a good budget by giving you a free budget template that you can use for any paycheck you have coming in. And so I'm going to walk you through how to do this. So in this routine, the first question up here is how much money did you receive in your bank account? So let's say that I received $2,000 for my paycheck. And let's say now in this next question is how much do you want to save? Let's say I want to save $1,000, which is 50% of my paycheck, and that's really aggressive. And the reason I'm picking this is I want to show you how to negotiate with yourself and actually back off of this savings amount as you learn how to budget and go through this process. But let's say I'm really aggressive and I want to try to save $1,000, so I'm going to do that. What you'll see here is that your savings rate is 50%, and you have $1,000 left to spend on everything else. The next question is how many days until you get paid again? For me, I chose 14 days. Let's say hypothetically I'm paid every 2 weeks. And then just down here is automatic, but it just says, basically I have $71 to spend every day with the amount of money I have left over. All right, so then now let's bring this budget process to life with the steps we talked about. So the first four steps you're going to see here in green, red, orange, and blue are step one is paying yourself first, then budgeting for all of your mandatory bills before you're paid again, then covering any other needs you have, finally any wants that you want to cover, like maybe going to a movie or a date night or something nice. Then, after you finish looking at what you need to cover before you're paid again, look at what expenses do I have coming up. So, what I like to do is look 6 months ahead. What are the longer term needs I have that I need to start budgeting for that so that when I get to that payment or whatever it is, I'm not getting super stressed out because I don't have money to pay for it. So then in step six, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to look 12 months ahead at all of the wants that we have. So again, this might be a vacation that you're planning where we need to start saving a little money every paycheck. Finally, in step seven, we're going to start budgeting towards unintended or unexpected expenses like your car breaking down. So then what we're going to see down here are your available to budget dollars. So what this is it's basically all of the dollars that you have for your paycheck. So this $2,000 here is the same as the amount that you entered for your paycheck. So now in step one, what I need to ask is for these $2,000, where do I want to assign them to pay myself first? So, what you'll see down here are all of the categories that I use for my own budget. And I've shared them here with you. And really, it fits anyone's lifestyle. So, you can pretty much fit any expense you have in any of these categories. So, let me walk you through them. So, in wealth building, we have three main goals. We're trying to pay off debt, we're trying to build a safety net for ourselves, and we're learning how to invest. Under debt, if you have debt, you probably have a student loan, you might have a credit card debt, or a personal loan or some other type of debt. Under housing, you have a rent or a mortgage payment. You might have renter's insurance and other utilities. Under food, we primarily eat out or we buy groceries at the store. Personal expenses are anything that we spend on ourselves, from spending money, like maybe going to Amazon, to buying clothes. I have coffee and alcohol in here because I just like to keep track of that. Household goods you might buy for yourself or for your house. Personal upkeep, like getting your hair done or doing your nails or something. Entertainment and subscription. This category is all about going out. So maybe you like to go out on a Friday night after a long work week, or you go on vacation, or you have other subscriptions like a cell phone or Netflix or something. I'll go faster through all of these, but these other categories are for your kids, hobbies that you have, growth activities, like maybe you want to start funding, going back to school, so you want to start saving for school. Health and wellness. So key to our wealth is also taking care of our bodies. So we want to start saving money towards medical expenses we might have, preventative care, or a gym. Under transportation, Obviously, you might have a vehicle loan, but if you don't have a car, maybe you're paying for public transport, and then finally your pets. Okay, so let's go back up to step one. So originally, I said I want my target of $1,000 to save in this paycheck. So let's say hypothetically, I want to put $500 towards the debt, and I want to put $500 towards this 6 month saving safety net I'm building. So I put $500 towards my debt payoff here, and I put $500 towards a safety net here. And what you'll see is that this totals right here for a total of $1,000 that I want to contribute. Now we'll look up a little bit, and you'll see that I have $1,000 assigned to my wealth building, which is 50% of my paycheck. And now I only have $1,000 available to budget here. So now I'm going to go to step two, where I go to mandatory bills. And I'm going to start thinking about what mandatory bills do I have to pay before I'm paid again. Today is January 24th. So let's say my next big bill is my rent payment. And let's say that's $1,000. And, maybe I have an electricity bill of $100 that's due. Got to pay that because I don't want them to cut off my electricity. And let's see, those are the mandatory bills. And then so let's go here. So now we scroll back up. We see that we have $1,100 assigned to our mandatory bills. So $1,000 from your rent, $100 from electricity. It's 55% of your paycheck. And now I don't have enough money to cover all of these other steps. So I actually have a negative amount of money to budget. But let's keep going and ignore this available to budget for now. So I'm going to go to step three, where I look at what are my other needs. And I'm going to start thinking, well, I need to eat. So let's say that's $150 for eating, and I need gas for my car to be able to get to work. So let's say that's about $50 before I'm paid again, and maybe that's it for that. Now we're scrolling back up. We go to step four, where we go to our wants. Again, our available to budget's getting lower and lower. It's actually negative because I don't have enough money to cover the jobs that I want my money to do. So here I am. I'm going to look at what other wants do I have. Maybe I want to save $50 for myself to buy something on Amazon, and $50 for eating out, and let's just keep it at that for now. Okay. So here I've covered all of the key things that I need to pay for before I'm paid again. And so now we're going to go to our next 6 months. What are the longer term needs that I have that my money from this paycheck needs to go towards? Let's say longer term needs. Let's say I have I pay insurance every 6 months, and my car insurance is $150, and um, and then I need to save a little bit of money every paycheck so that I can pay my big insurance bill that's coming up. I'm gonna put $50 towards insurance, and we'll just keep that there for now. We'll scroll back up. We kind of see that our available to budget is getting more and more negative as I'm assigning money. Let's go to longer term wants. So I mentioned a vacation. Let's say my vacation is going to be $5,000. So let's say my vacation is going to be $5,000, but it's going to be in 12 months. So, I have 12 months to start saving. Um, let's say for that, I want to start maybe saving $100 a paycheck, so that by the time I get to that vacation expense, I have enough money to cover that. So now we'll go up here again, and then we'll go to unexpected expenses. And what I might think about is a vet bill for my dog, and some type of repair for my car. I'll put money towards that. And maybe I'll also go in here and I'll say, I want to work towards a hobby. So, like, a long term goal I have is for rock climbing. So I'll put $50 towards a hobby. And now I'll just kind of start, like, going back in and looking at different things that I might pay for. So maybe I pay for Netflix, and that's $19. And I have a cell phone bill, but I'm on a low cost cell phone plan. I'm not overpaying for my cell phone service. and that's $30. And I want to go out once on a Friday, and that's another $50. And yeah, let's just stick with that. So now I've assigned money to all of these different steps. But what I see when I get all the way over here is in red, I actually don't have enough money to cover everything that I need to pay for and everything that I want to do. So you'll see in red I have a negative $799. And so what that means is that I need to change how I'm allocating my money. So let's do this in a few ways. So let's just say, well, look, I can't save $1,000. I actually need to cover all of my expenses, and so I need to decrease the amount I'm saving. And so maybe in my safety net, I'm only going to add $100. So now you'll see that the total amount that's available to budget has went down to $399. So let's just say, you know what? I'm not going to be able to make that big debt payoff, and I'm only going to be able to make a $101 payoff. So now what you see is that what we've done is our paycheck has been allocated completely. You'll see here in green, there are no I've spent all of the money that I have. I've assigned it to a job that is purposeful to me. But let's go through this a little bit. So let's say I was really excited about saving a lot of money. Originally, my target was $1,000. I wanted to save this paycheck. I'm not too happy about decreasing my debt payoff from $500 down to 101. And I really do want to try to increase my savings, my safety net. But and so here's where we're going to start to negotiate with ourselves. Um, I can't do anything about my rent bill. Obviously, I have to pay that. And a lot of these other expenses like groceries, maybe I can look up some frugal tips to try to save on food. Let's say I do that. Let's say that, I'm going to be really frugal and I'm going to save $25. What you'll see up here now, what's updated is I have 25 more dollars to assign a target. And so I could actually go take that money and I could put it towards my debt payoff. So I'm going to take that $25 and I'm going to assign it to the debt payoff. So now you see in green that this has been rebalanced. Let's say I'm still not happy with that, and I want to try to save a little bit more. Originally I planned to save $100 this paycheck for my vacation that's happening in 12 months. But what's important to me right now is paying off debt and figuring out how to build this safety net. And so, I'm actually going to decrease this amount that I'm saving for a vacation. I can only save $25 towards this vacation. It's not a lot. And, maybe 12 months down the line, I'm not going to be able to afford the vacation I really want, but maybe I can negotiate with myself and I could go on a cheaper vacation. Maybe it's not to the place that I really want, that's like overseas, but maybe I could do something, more locally that'll save money, but still allow me to do something nice. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, let's just keep it at that. So I decreased my vacation and savings amount, and so I have another $75 over here in step 7 to allocate, and I'm just going to add that to this. So I'm going to go this to 201, and now I'm back to $0. And so what this is telling you in this corner here is that it turns red if you've over allocated money, meaning you've assigned your money to too many jobs, it turns red. And if you don't have it assigned to enough jobs, then your money isn't working for you. And so what you found in this instance is balance. You've paid off all of your mandatory bills. You've been thoughtful about what you need or what you want before you're paid again, and you're starting to think about what expenses do I need to cover after my next paycheck in 6 to 12 months while building wealth. And so this is a negotiation that you kind of go back and forth on in every single paycheck. We're thinking about what are the things that might come up? How do I maximize my future self while making sure my current self is having their needs met? And so sometimes that might mean that we're not able to build wealth as much in one paycheck. So maybe we're not able to pay ourselves first. In this example, I'm still saving $301, which is 15% of my paycheck. because I have this big rent payment. But maybe, in the next paycheck, when I don't have a big rent payment, I'll be able to save a little bit more. And so we're continually kind of going back and forth on these steps. So what I would do is I would familiarize myself with this process, and before long, going through each of these steps really becomes pretty much like muscle memory, where I'm just thinking about what are the different needs I have, what are the different jobs I need to assign my money, and going through each of these steps until every paycheck you get to this place where you see zero here, and you haven't given your money more jobs than they're able to handle, like we did in our example yesterday about feeling overworked. And we haven't given our money no jobs where they're not being used for whatever's purposeful. And we're being really intentional about where our money's going, and we're moving from a place where we just kind of have this general sense that money's just moving around and we don't know where it's going, to being really specific about what our money's doing for us. And if you can do this every paycheck, this process is incredible because you're negotiating with yourself in every single area, and you're just becoming more intentional. And it's not just like, it's not wasted time, and it's not really fooling with a spreadsheet. It's more about like what's most important to me in my life. I spend all of my energy earning this money. What is it that I want to go? What is it that I want to have it spent on, so that it's making me the most happy right now while building for the future I want. And so, again, I've been doing this for the last 10 years, this exact process. You get paid, you go through this process, you make sure that you're maximizing your retirement accounts and you're getting the most from your employer that you can. And you're kind of building this challenge within yourself to try to see, how much more can you save while meeting your current needs. So let me back out of this. So I hope that my process has been eye-opening for you to see how you can be really intentional with your dollars, and that I hope it goes a little bit deeper than what you'll see in a lot of traditional paycheck routine advice that sits kind of at that surface level. And I also hope that it starts to connect how these really tactical budget and planning steps you take with your money really are at a much deeper level, talking about your intent and your behaviors, and how you see money in your life, and what you want it to do for you. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Again, I would love if you could throw me a subscribe. That just lets me have a closer relationship with you as I release new content. Liking this video also tells others that it's important. And as a new YouTuber, I don't know, I can't even believe I'm calling myself that. But but as someone that is doing these videos, I hope to be able to reach a wider audience with some of these tips, and I hope that it really does make a difference, because for me, this is the type of work that it took for me to really to be successful with money, and I hope it has the same impact for you. And if this is the first video that you've seen of mine, I released two other videos on kind of the principles of budgeting, which I think is going to be that way over here, somewhere like that. So if you want to go watch those are out now, and I'll continue to release weekly videos around this budgeting series, and then start to get into how to start thinking about investing and how to invest for the long term successfully. So thanks so much, and I hope you have a nice weekend.